Hey, welcome to Garage Talk. As always, I'm Conrad. Let's go.
I'm Ted. It's time to rock and roll.
Hey, Teddy, today in the garage, we got the mayor of Jonesboro,
Bob Goins.
Bobby. The people love you, man.
All my fans.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your family. Let's start with your family, man.
Yep. I'm my wife, Pamela. We've been married over 50 years. I got 3 daughters, Angela, Amanda, and Elena. Proud father, good or bad. I'm retired from the Postal Service after 42 years. I volunteer for about anything in the community, and I'd like for my family to continue that. Hopefully there'll be one of us always volunteering in the community and doing the thing that's right for this fine community.
Yeah. So, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Jonesboro.
In Jonesboro. Tell us about young Bob Goins in Jonesboro.
Well, young Bob Goins in Jonesboro was basically a kid that got up in the summer about 9 o'clock and didn't come home until basically midnight or whatever.
Okay.
We rode our bikes. We rode little carts down the hill.
Soapbox derby carts?
Yes, Johnson sponsored us from Marion, the old packing, and they gave us a boxcar, and we rode that thing for probably about 5 years. I ran with my older brother, Larry, and mostly with him. My sister and my other brother are younger. But Jonesboro was fun. In the 60s, Jonesboro still had the highway going through it. Well, everybody thinks the Highway 22 out here always went through Gas City. It didn't. It stopped out there by Sissels and angled into Jonesboro, and that was the back way to Muncie. So you had Mahoney's gas station up there. You had several grocery stores down. You had Webb's drugstore. You had Pierce Grocery. I can continue on with the things. You had Thomas gas station. There was a lot of businesses there, and from 66 on, the progression that Gas City has made with the highway coming through is kind of taking Jonesboro back. It's not Gas City's fault. It's just the way the economic things go. When there's a highway, you can develop things. But Jonesboro, for me, was fun. I can remember playing 6th Street basketball at the Friends Church. It was constant playing with Gary Hoffines and Darwin Lice and Ben DeBonis, the Sap Boys. I think even the Williams family lived at 601 South Water when we were kids.
After the tornado.
Yep. Jonesboro was a good town. We got a lot of problems, but we're trying to fix it. But as far as growing up there, I wouldn't have it any other way because the things I learned over there was we had good teachers. You guys remember that Jonesboro had their own K through 8 until I forget what year it was, 79 or something like that. So we had 8 years together as kids over there before we came over to Gas City and merged into school. But Jonesboro's a good town. I'm going to try to do some things that are different than the last previous mayors have done. Hopefully we'll do the right things.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but I want to talk more about, because you had some good memories growing up in Jonesboro.
Oh, yes.
Talk about them, man.
The ballpark.
Yeah.
We'd go down there at midnight, me and my brother, and play baseball. We'd turn the lights on at the park at midnight and play 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning until the cops came down and ran us off. But the memories we have of being a youth in Jonesboro is not much different than Gas City. It was a close-knit little community. We'd go to Mahoney's gas station and get a soda pop out of the trough up there. He kept a little trough of pop.
Like the old Coke?
Yes. And I'm not kidding, Conrad. I always felt a little electricity in that thing when I got my pop. And it was not.
Wait, you got a little shock out of that?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a real funny story.
How much was a soda back then for you? Don't say a nickel.
It was a dime.
It was a dime.
I'll tell you the fun things we used to do.
Cheers,
we used
man.
to go up there, and Webb's drugstore was just so much fun. After I got done with my paper route, I'd go up there and buy a cherry phosphate for a dime, and it was so good.
What the hell is a cherry phosphate?
Well, it's something you wouldn't want to give your kids right now. Right?
Why?
I don't know.
They were the original energy drinks.
Oh, okay.
I tell you, the thing I really liked the most about Jonesboro, and I might start crying, is I met my wife there in '66. She was coming from Sissels because her parents were building a new home, and the highway wasn't completed. And she had to ride the dirt road all the way to Gas City to band practice in the summer. So I followed her there. And she got done. We rode up to Webb's drugstore. I bought her cherry phosphate, and we talked, and we've been together ever since.
Wow.
And the barbers across the street would look at our bikes, and I'd go over and get a haircut. Ed Jernigan was a great guy in Jonesboro. He'd cut hair up there. He would always make fun of me about riding a bike with my wife, my girlfriend then, about riding around town with a girl all the time. And they were so much fun. Him and Bud Teagarden. Phil Drake's dad was a barber there. By the way, we got a barber in Jonesboro. I got to do a shout out to Chad Diltz. He's doing very good. He's turning people away right now, but hang in there. He'll get some openings.
You know, that looks like a very cool spot, too. It looks very, vintage?
Yeah, you want a little history about that? That was a post office at one time, originally,
Really?
until 1961. And they the post office moved over to where it's at. But,
The history of this area, it interests me because there's so much, like Gas City, we're the original time capsule still hasn't been found. We have another one. We talked to Bill Rock on the last episode, and I don't know really too much about Jonesboro's history. Who was the first? Do you know the first mayor of Jonesboro?
I'm not sure. I think I can tell you. But
Well,
not
I mean-
today. But there's been a few mayors over there already. But Bob McNutt was the last mayor, and he was very good. And Bob is Jonesboro. Bob McNutt built many homes over there with him and his father. And Bob was related to everybody over there. The Jonesboro Zebras, before 1948, that's what the high school was Jonesboro. They were called the Zebras. Jonesboro has a lot of history. We have a race car driver over there. His last name's Knight. That's where the name came from.
Is it?
Yes, we have. I can't think of his first name, but he is was a well-known race car driver in the early 1900s, and he was from Jonesboro.
Wow.
But J.C. Knight was a lot of history there, the railway used to run from 12th Street in Jonesboro to Marion. As you go through Jonesboro right now, you can see where the old train tracks were. But a lot of history over there. There's a lot of good people over there. Bob Laughlin, those guys are still kicking. They were the original Jonesboro Zebras. And I go back to the bank being downtown, the laundromat, and grocery stores.
Well, this famous race car driver, going back, his name was Harry C. Knight. He was born in 1869. 1869 from Jonesboro, Indiana, from beautiful Jonesboro, Indiana, before moving to Columbus, Ohio, where he passed away in 1913. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is real cool.
That's real cool.
But people don't. I think that's one thing a lot of people don't do. They don't care about civic activities and history of their town. There's a lot of proud things in this county. That's the first thing when I became mayor in Jonesboro. I told the council we support Gas City and we support Grant County because if you can't take care of things locally, you're in the wrong business. And we do need some help. Gas City's a big help for us on some of our infrastructure problems. Mayor Rock and his staff have done a lot of good work for us, and we're very happy for that. We got some things going on. You'd like me to talk about that? We got a new water plant coming.
Wow.
$5.1 million. They're breaking the ground in July, and we should be active in early 2025 with a new water plant for the city, because our water plant right now, I think it's 60 years old. And that's one thing about infrastructure in these cities. We're at the 50 to 6 year infrastructure that's coming due, and a lot of water lines are breaking, a lot of lead pipes are still out there, and people don't understand why their sewage is backing up or they're plugging up. Well, their homes were built 50, 60 years ago, and it's old tile, and that's why a lot of things we're trying to help them with.
So a lot of those houses are older than that. They gotta be.
Oh, that's bad.
They gotta be.
Yeah, there used to be a Paranite up there. I would tell you about that. I love the old Paranite.
Yeah, when we talk about Jonesboro, I have some very fond memories of Paranite Pond. me and my buddies as youth, and don't do what we did. Don't do what we did. We snuck a couple of our, grandpa's Pabst Blue Ribbon. I think we had some of the other kids' dads, Milwaukee's Best, and went fishing back there.
Yeah.
I never caught a single thing.
You know what that pond was used for?
I heard it's so deep that there was a train wreck or something, and a train car fell in it, and they still couldn't find. That's the rumors.
That's the rumor. That pond was originally used. There used to be a pipe that ran to it. It would run to the factory, and they would use that water to cool the machinery and then return it back there. That's why there's not a lot of fish in there. Because that road down there used to have a bridge across it years ago in the 1900s, early 1900s. There was a bridge there. And those homes up on First Avenue, there's 3 or 4 of them up there because I lived up in that area one time, and those homes were heated by that water. As it returned, they went underneath their homes and came back and went to that pond after it ran through the machinery in Jonesboro.
Huh.
What was the company that was doing that?
Paranite Wire and Cable.
Okay, so
It was originally a rubber company.
So did it become Essex? What they do? Make insulation for the wire? Or?
They made insulated wire because we used to play on the reels back there, those wooden reels. We used to have those all the time back here.
Yeah.
But Jonesboro's got a lot of history. We can go back and talk about all the good guys that lived over there. But there's Wilbur Webb. I like to throw a shout out for him. He's been a mainstay in that community for years. He does a lot of things behind the scene, the Historical Society. And that's one thing I like to tell people. Go over to the Historical Society, and we got a little trailer over there on Main Street. It used to be the bank. And a lot of history's in there because everybody talks about the frost top.
Oh, yeah.
The frost top.
Oh, yeah.
Frost top.
Tell me about it because I have no clue.
Dude.
Now,
It was a drive.
I'm not trying to say that I'm young because I'm more 50 than I am 40.
Well,
So it must have been
the
done.
new 40's the new 30.
Oh, okay. All right.
The Frost Top
I like that.
was a drive-up root beer stand, and you could bring your glass gallon and get it to go. And on Friday nights, that place was packed because everybody had to have, I guess, their watermelon and their root beer. And because, back in the day, there wasn't a lot of consumable good food that you could get at the grocery store. It was more vegetables and stuff like that. So a root beer was a big deal to the kids. I can remember getting a gallon of root beer and going home and staring at my bike I got. Just through the window drinking that root beer, and there was a new bicycle in there I got from running the paper route, and I just loved that bike. It was a ram horn, fastback, 5-speed, and if I had that today,
man.
I wouldn't probably, I'd cherish that thing.
Hey, Daddy, you remember your first bicycle? Mm-hmm. Did they invent the wheel back then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just kidding.
it was square. No, but Bob was talking about some of the history there. I can remember when I went to JC Knight, which that was probably one of my favorite schools I ever went to, and then we could actually leave at lunch and we'd walk up to Pierce grocery store and get some stuff up there. And
Well, you probably walked up to 10th Street grocery store. There was one on the corner. Do you remember that one?
Yep.
It was not as wide as this garage we're at.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, us three went through the door. We couldn't make it. It was open for years, and it was only about 8 feet wide.
Let's be honest, just 2 of us probably wouldn't make it.
I know.
Me and Ted are fat asses.
Yeah, because I actually graduated with April Stuttle.
She still lives up on Main Street.
Yep, same house that she grew up in. Yep.
Her father was he was like the head laborer up there in Jonesboro for years. He knew everything.
And that's like so, but Pierce, that was John West's
Right.
mother, correct?
Right.
That ran that. Yep.
John's a classmate of mine.
Yep. He's out in Hollywood.
Yep. He made commercials out there.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's interesting. What year did you graduate from Mrs. Sinawha?
1973.
1973. What was it like? What did a young Bob Goins envision in 1973 after you got your diploma? Because the world's yours. When you're 18, you got the world by the balls, but you have it by the balls for
Yeah.
so many.
Well, the day I graduated was May 20th, I think, 1973. and I started Fisher Body May 21st, 1973.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll tell you a real quick story about that. I worked for a vending company out there in the evening on third shift. My classmates didn't even know I worked there, but I filled the vending machines at Fisher Body. That's why I was always asleep at school. And Jerry Nelson, who lives in Jonesboro, was a personnel manager, and he saw me work, and he goes, "Hey, I need some production workers. I know you're graduating next week. Go home, get a haircut, come back, and I'll give you a job." I drove home fast as I could, had my mom cut my hair. So I think she put a bowl on my head, and I went back out and got that job. But I went and applied to the post office, and I was very fortunate to get that.
Well, let's talk about that because I think that's pretty interesting. I don't know how anyone. You have to have like the memory of an elephant. Because mine can hold a 10-digit phone number for about 30 seconds now. When I was younger, I knew everybody's phone number, because back then, my grandmother, we had a rotary phone on the wall. Now, we have our, we've been spoiled.
Yeah. My phone number when me and Pam were first married was easy. We just got rid of it a few years ago. 674-6746. And Bert Battershell's mom used to call us years ago when she was getting elderly. She kept dialing 674.
Yeah.
And finally she told me who she was. The technology we've seen, Conrad, is the way it's, I don't want to say blossom, but I guess is unbelievable.
Exploded.
We went from having a stick as a toy to having an iPhone that's more valuable than when they went to the moon the first time. You have more capability.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Don't try and go to the moon, Ted.
No.
Off your iPhone. So, you get a job at the post office, and you're a mail carrier, I'm guessing?
Yep.
How long did you carry mail?
Before I became a manager, 19 years.
19 years?
There's a lot of stories about that.
Okay. and because this was the interest I had. You're carrying mail, and you work your way up to Postmaster General, right?
Just postmaster.
Postmaster. You ever find some unique things in the mail?
Well,
Not dildos or anything like that. Like I meant like anthrax or.
well, I tell you what. As I got farther up the career, the most interesting things we found was when I was postmaster in Gary, Indiana, that the overnight packages daily, we had marijuana in them. Daily. Every day. What they would do, they would flood it with 30 or 40 overnight packages.
Hoping to
be
get
successful in 5, and they got their money. The things that have changed in the post offices. I just can't imagine what they're seeing now because all the packaging, and we didn't have that back in the day. We just did letters. I mean, we deliver 3 to 4 to 5,000 letters in Gas City per route. Now they may deliver 300, but they may be doing 800 packages or something like that.
because you were postmaster back when, they started to mail some stuff through the mail. I just had a curiosity, like the whole anthrax thing.
Oh yeah, we did do that. A lot of employees had to start wearing gloves. We had to be real careful about that. But we had the machines that could detect that before it left the plant. And when I say plant, that's our mail processing center. And almost everything's automated now. I mean, you can mail a letter, put it in your mailbox. The carrier takes it to the post office in Gas City, and that's the last time a human being will touch it until it hits the destination point because it's all automatically sorted.
Yeah. And then while you were doing that, you became a school board member, correct?
I became a school board member as a kid when I was still carrying mail. I became a school board member in 1990, and I was on the board until 2002. I had a lot of fun. I wouldn't wish it on anybody unless you have the ability to stand your ground at times on coaches and teachers and students, because I'm telling you right now, the things I see today, and I know you guys witness this, I wouldn't be a bus driver for any school corporation in the world. But it's like the whole society. We have to adjust to everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the school board was really a lot of fun because I was not that I don't say, I was not that good at being a communicator and talking like I am now. As you can tell, I can talk for hours now because wasn't that confident when I was a school board member. But as I came along, I developed into something that I knew I could raise my hand and say, hey, I'll help out. Because churches, civic things, chess club, anything you can name, nobody wants to help. Nobody will raise their hand and say, hey, I'll be there Thursday night, I'll do things. And the school board's no different. Nobody wants to do anything or say anything about school until they're mad about something. And it's usually something that they have no control over or no business interfering with. And the administrators, they have a tough job, and the school board has a tougher job because they set policy, they set the budget, and they set personnel sometimes. So, but school board in Miss Centerwall from 1990 to 2002 was a lot of fun. A lot of good people were on that board during that time.
And you had to make some tough decisions in those times. And
I'm still seeing those tough decisions. I still get comments once in a while. And it's been 2024? It's been 22 years since I've been off that board, and I still get comments to this day about what I might have said or what I might have did.
Yeah. And we don't have to talk about the ins and outs of those decisions, but you can't ever truly see if the decision you made was right for a couple years. Now looking back on those hard decisions, how do you feel about them? I mean, you can talk about them if you want. If not, that's understandable.
Well, the thing I will tell you, first of all, it wasn't my decision. It was the board's decision.
You're only one vote.
I was only one
You're
vote.
one vote.
And I'm hard-nosed about certain things. I was very hard-nosed about teachers not getting paid enough, administrators getting not too much, but most of the increases. When you give an employee 3% raise as a teacher and they're making $25,000, but administrators are making $80,000, that 3% is a lot more than the 25. And I'm not getting here political about raises for teachers and everything, but they don't make enough money.
Teachers.
I agree.
They don't.
Teachers are, we'll scream it from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Teachers are heroes.
Yes.
Those are jobs I couldn't do.
Oh, no.
I could not do a job as a teacher, bus driver, anybody who has any patience for a large amount of kids.
Yep. And the parents are very rough on teachers and everything too.
It's changed, yeah,
But
definitely.
the things I did as a school board member, I felt like we changed some things and got comprehensive testing back, and it wasn't my choice, but we did do that in Miss Centerville where, your grade wasn't really based always on that final test because a lot of people aren't good test takers or exceptional like that. But the things the thing I did do that I made a lot of riffs with was when they put the 147, 150 contracts in front of me, told me to sign it for every teacher, I wouldn't do that. I would tell them that you need to bring me who you're recommending and who you're not recommending for rehire, because we can't do 147 exactly. Everybody gets back because there's not I used to say this to them, there's not 147 good mailmen. Some of them are bad. You need to make sure everybody is getting properly trained and help them get better, probationary employment. But you can't go 147 for 147.
It's resources and support,
Yes.
and that's something that people don't see about school board issues is like the school board has to do the behind the scenes stuff, but they're there to support.
Well, they make decisions that most people don't understand why they're making.
Yeah.
It could be a personnel thing, or it could be a financial thing. I mean, why did you give the principals 10% more or something? Not that, but you make decisions that not always are the best for some people, but you always make it for the right reasons.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
You are only one person on that
vote.
board. And somebody asked me the other day if I'd run for school board ever again, and the word is no. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it takes a very special person,
Yeah.
just like to be a teacher.
Oh, yes.
So, is that what got you kicked off on your political journey? Would you say you're a politician?
No. I will say that I'm just a helper.
Okay.
You guys know me. I volunteer for everything, but getting voted off the school board for a decision that I got blamed for, but the board did it, helped me in the long run.
Okay.
I was sitting in Gas City as a postmaster, doing a good job, but I felt like that what my decision was, a lot of people wouldn't accept it. I got the blame. From the mayor to everybody down would come and talk to me about whatever our board made a decision they didn't like, they were always on. I thought, I got to get out of here. So I got upgraded, put in promotion in Indianapolis. Went from Indianapolis, went to Kokomo, went to Marion as postmaster. Then after that, I went to, I worked in Chicago in 2007 too to help me out. Then I went to Gary and then went to South Bend. And I finished my career sitting at the OIC position in South Bend, Indiana.
That's really cool.
Yeah. One thing I will tell
A
you.
kid running the streets in Jonesboro.
Yeah.
Just sitting in a very nice spot. Tell us about that spot, because where were you? You're in Chicago, right?
Yeah. Chicago was a great. I love Chicago. I mean, I do.
Mm-hmm.
But it helped me leaving the postmaster position in Gas City. But what kind of spot were you talking about?
Didn't you have a nice apartment there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Postal Service took care of me up there. I was on the 36th floor at 600 McClurg Street, and I could look
He
out.
still remembers the.
I could look out, and there was the Navy Pier. At night, I could see Chicago Stadium, and at that time, I could see Sears Tower, and it was 36 floors up. And I got a real quick story. I was there one day, my grandson Braden and my wife Pam were with me, and they started screaming because this guy was jumping off of a 30-floor building tethered to a helicopter, and he was flying through the buildings tethered to there. They were filming Batman.
Wow.
And they would lower him down a helicopter, let him off untether him. He'd take him up an elevator because the building was being built. You could see him go up there. They'd strap him up and he'd jump off again.
Take two.
And we got down there. We tried to get into the scene of it and everything.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let us near it and everything. It's pretty cool.
That is cool as can be.
I've had a blessed postal career. Just blessed. I'm very happy. I
So
worked
now-
hard. Didn't call in sick in 42 years. Put my nose to the grindstone.
Man.
And I will tell you this much: I paid a price for it, though. You know, I was gone quite a bit, but everything's good.
It's good now.
But at the school board, I worked on that, and I worked as a postmaster. One thing I will tell you guys: I run a foundation. You guys know about that, don't you? It's called
Tell
Miss Cinema Alumni Foundation.
yeah, I know about that.
It was my classmates of '73. We, being the guys and the girls, got together quite a bit, and we said we need to do something. Somehow, somebody, either Noel Schroeder or Dick Brock or Brad Bishop, one of those guys said, "Hey, I can't find a welder to weld something." So we thought, well, let's get our money together. So we created we're a 501c3.
Mm-hmm.
We got an accountant. Yeah, we got a lawyer, and we had. We're giving away till the end of time, I hope, two $1,500 scholarships for Miss Cinema students that graduate that will pursue an apprenticeship or skilled trade.
It's awesome. Yep.
I love that, man.
And if we have enough funds for at least 10 years right now, because we all donate. We're having a golf scramble. We'll be announcing it in June. We're working with the school and hopefully the school board to get some more funds raised on a golf scramble. And we'll do it on Saturday this year because it kind of went a little sideways. We were just a bunch of guys getting together on a Friday before our 50th reunion, and we were going to just play golf and goof off. And then, lo and behold, you know how my mind goes. Well, let's raise some money and do this. And we raised quite a bit of money. I mean, we had a lot of skilled trades. We had IBEW help us. We had the Carpenters Union out of Indianapolis. And the brick masons, they donate a lot of money to help us out. And
That is cool.
the average electrician
That
is
is cool.
59 and a half years old. So we need electricians.
Need 'em. Yep.
We need kids to work with their hands and not just, we're not looking just for somebody who wants to be a welder.
Electricians make money.
Yes. And you don't, The reason we did this, we don't want the kids to go to college and get $200,000 in debt to make $35,000
Right.
a year.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And we all know, we all sit around this table, we know we're all lucky where we're at. We got there by somebody helping us some way. We
Yeah.
can't say what it was or who it was, but you know in your heart, we are hoping that those two small checks, and they go to the student, they don't go to the school, they don't go to the apprenticeship program, that goes to the student and let them go where they want to go with it. Buy books, pay for their apprenticeship, gas money, first year doing something, because we want to feel like they're unrestricted and they go do it, and they can see that we're going to help them and everything.
I like that.
Because I tell you, I'm looking at maybe if we can do something, do another third one. I want somebody, we could get some people to want to become firemen or policemen and maybe help them do that, because we are struggling for police officers in every community. I think Gas City's hired probably 6 or 8 in the last 2 years.
Right.
And they may have openings right now. But missing all students, you can apply this year, 2024, first 2 scholarships, let's go.
I
That's
love
awesome.
it, man. That is a
Yep.
hey, that scholarship is open. You heard him.
Yep,
So now you're retired
yes,
and you're back in your community.
yes.
What's the next move? City council?
No. I
did
think I might run for county commissioner someday.
Okay.
I think I could help there a little bit.
Well, you were on the city council for Jonesboro, correct?
Actually, I was on Board of Works,
Board of Works.
and that was an unpaid
Okay.
volunteer position.
Okay.
Yep. And that was helping out Bob McNutt.
Okay.
Bob's a great guy, but he told me, he came to my house and he said, hey, I'm 80, I think at that time he was 82, and he didn't want to run again. He goes, why don't you come up and see what you want to do and everything. And of course, you know how I am. I'm not a short arm guy. I raised my hand.
Yeah.
And he actually got me to change my political party in case something should happen for a contingency plan. And nobody ran against me. I don't have an agenda as far as an employee I don't like. The employees are great. I was really amazed how well they work up there. And we got some ideas. We're going to have a solar eclipse party at the community building. What is that, April 8th? We got a new railroad crossing at 6th Street coming in. We're the busiest street in Jonesboro. This coming July, we got a water plant coming. We got sidewalks coming from hopefully all the way, I mean, we got funding for paving and sidewalks all the way from Water Street to Westview School.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you say you had a Dollar General?
No, that fell through.
Because I'll
I'm
tell
not
you
done.
right,
I'm not done.
I know you're a persistent person.
No.
Because I'll tell you right now, wherever there's a Dollar General, stuff blossoms around it.
Well, I just got back from Florida. I drove through Alabama. There's one in every city at the beginning of the city.
Yeah.
There's one
Yeah, they're in the
If
town.
you were smart, you should have invested in Dollar General years ago, because I'll tell you,
Yeah,
they
they're
did it right,
everywhere.
because nobody's going to drive to Walmart that's 12 miles away when this one's sitting right here.
Yeah.
I go to yours in town here.
Yeah.
I go all the time.
In Tennessee, there's one, you'll drive through mountains and all of a sudden you'll see a Dollar General. You won't see a gas station, you'll see a Dollar General.
It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think Jonesboro is going to reap some rewards of some things that are happening. You know, they're going to be shared between Gas City and Jonesboro. I believe.
Somebody just applied to the Area Plan Commission for a Mexican restaurant.
Wow.
That's
Called
sweet.
Quesadilla Mexican Restaurant.
Quesadilla.
And I know it's official because I went over and went through their mailbox and they're getting mail. So I know it's official. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
There's some blighted things. We're tearing down buildings over there, and we're applying for grants to get them down. There's another business that's coming over there, but there's a little bit of a hitch. I'm going to try to get the commissioners to release some of the liens, because these properties already went through the sheriff's cell, and the commissioners kind of own
Yeah.
it. And they can relieve the liens and let the city get it and give it to a business that wants to move in. Gas City's done that and everything. And I got to give a shout out. Gas City has done some wonderful things. I don't know what they're going to do someday, because we're all old around this table. They got some employees that are very valuable down there, and I don't know what they're going to do when a guy like Jim Richards retires.
Oh, man.
He has more knowledge than down there, and Jim's a good resource for me too, because he helps us a lot.
I try and encourage people to especially younger, go and meet with these guys. Go out to breakfast. You can gain a lot of knowledge just by sitting with these fellas who've been through a building of a couple of communities. You know, get some knowledge. It's going to end up paying off in the long run.
I think Larry Leach and Beaner Lynn would be proud of what Gas City looks like
Yeah,
out there.
I do too.
And, I'm wondering what's going to go out there behind that with that lake and everything out there. That's a valuable piece of land out there. I could just see somebody doing something really beautiful with that someday out there by I-69.
We hope. I mean, so what are your expectations for Jonesboro?
My expectations for Jonesboro is that everybody to give us a chance to get some things done, beautify the town with flowers and new sidewalks and everything, and be involved in the community. I want people to show up at the board meetings. I'm going to televise them on Facebook because I just think people need to know. The school board meetings in Minnesota, they're not televised anymore, are they?
School board meetings are on YouTube.
YouTube?
Yes.
All right,
They're on YouTube Live, and then because everything's public knowledge during a regular session, so those meetings are then you can go back and see old meetings.
My expectations, Joe, to get back to that, is there's some areas of town that people think it's Jonesboro, but it's not. It's Mill Township, like Winston Road,
Yeah.
West 9th Street on the 900 block out. 4th Avenue is split down the middle. One side's Jonesboro, one side's Mill Township. And everybody doesn't, all those people in there don't want to get merged in or annexed into Jonesboro because they think we're like the devil or something. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not saying annexation, but I'm going to try to run infrastructure that way out west because we have some land out by Sissel's, where Mrs. Sissel used to live out there, 1200 West 6th Street. There's some land around in there where the original, that's where the high school was supposed to be in Minnesota High School.
Really?
Right out there.
The RJ Basket
No.
or the
No, the high school.
the new
That
high.
was- Yeah, the new high school was supposed to be
The new
there
old, yeah.
in 79, but Gas City got that land donated, so they took that. But there's land out there I'd like to, my expectation is to either get a resource center to move in. I'll just say Amazon. I don't think it'll happen. But if you think about the airport's right there, the highway's right there, it's kind of quiet, but I'd really like to, I wanted to say it, I'd like to do a sports facility. And I just can't get the grant money, but
Yeah.
I'm trying. 'Cause I
Amazon. That airport would blow up.
yeah. Well, Amazon, their distribution centers are just phenomenal. I mean, look at us, guys. You can open your phone up and they'd almost be right at your front door tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
If you got
UPS,
Prime, yeah.
Yeah, if you got Prime.
If you got Prime, it's going to be there. It could be there tomorrow. It could be there in 2 days.
Jonesboro has a lot of history.
Yep.
I have a lot of expectation in Jonesboro. I'm getting people involved. People are coming up. Tom Houston works a lot on our new gazebo. He's always decorating. I came over here today. He's out there killing weeds and everything out there. Tom's a good guy. Rob Kaus, got to speak out to him. He does a lot of good things. He's got the Cardinal, he got the Screenway down there.
Yeah.
It's huge. We're going to elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah.
I'm working with Cardinal Greenway right now to get another building down to our parking point down there where people can actually sit and put their shoes, fix their bike or everything, have a little covering. And I got a meeting with them, I think, in 2 weeks.
I worked with Rob Kaus and you on the Ole Miss Youth Sports Board,
Yes.
and there's something about you guys have in common. You guys don't know how to not stay busy.
Yeah.
You guys are always moving and always trying to develop something for Jonesboro.
Well, Jonesboro's got some good ball fields, but wait, this
Yeah.
year I have absolute control over them now.
Yeah.
I've got somebody tilling them up next week.
Let me tell you something right now. Those ball fields are sweet. The scoreboards, the dugouts. You guys put in new drainage tiles out there in the outfields too.
Yeah, and those things. Well, I got the Ole Miss Youth Sports is working on building a new concession stand at the Lily Diamond. We put aside
It's much needed down
we put
there.
aside $30,000,
Okay.
and I got somebody working on the girls' fence at the girls' diamond. We got new bricks coming down there for the pitcher's mound and the batter boxes, and we're going to work with that. And It's funny. I think sometimes Ole Miss Youth Sports, we may have too many sports because we can't specialize and really put all our money and heart into one. But I think that's also a good thing. That means we put our heart and soul into everybody. It's not just the good athletes.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
the kids of Conrad, Herrera, and Bob Goins and Ted Williams. The kids that were good athletes, but just had fun when they were playing.
Yeah.
Because I got baseball.
I would say I was moderate.
I got brand new baseball in my office as mayor. If you come in, you pick it up, you have to sign it.
Really?
Yeah, and I've done this my whole postal career, wherever I went, because guys come in if they're mad at me and they look and say, you know what, you're, what's this? Well, tell me about your Little League team. You have to sign that now. And once they sign that, they tell me about their Little League time. They gleam. I'm not kidding. They put that down. They go, now why did I come in here? Did I come in here to yell at you? No, I didn't. Everybody remembers their youth leagues. I don't care who you are. You remember your name of your team. You remember your coach. You remember who hit you in the back with a pitch.
Yep.
You know who blocked your game-winning shot. As far as youth sports, it's probably the hardest thing, one of the hardest things to manage, but it's the one that'll give you the most joy.
Oh, yeah.
And you both do it. And everybody out there knows who you two are. Because Conrad himself there, he gave up probably 80,000 miles on his vehicle and probably $20,000 of his own money.
A lot.
Yeah,
But you know what? I love doing it. You know, there was one year I did not miss one Little League game. And I got to see a 13-inning championship game that led till 1 a.m.
Cool.
And I pretty much, it was the Cardinals and Red Sox.
Yeah. And those kids will remember that.
Yeah, I can remember the pitchers. Pitching for the Red Sox was Gage Landis. And I remember Crick was on the Cardinals, and he had the game-winning hit. I'll tell you right now, these sports, and they're fun, they're great, and the parents don't understand the time that it takes to plan and organize. You know, these commissioners, the coaches, even. But especially the board, because there were times you've been a part of board meetings. You know what an organized board meeting is.
Right.
But you've been a part of a youth organization board meeting that's lasted 3 or 4 hours.
Yes.
And nobody's agreeing on which direction a program should go.
Sometimes I think like I said earlier, sometimes I think we may offer too many sports. I mean, we offer from golf to soccer. One thing I will tell you this much, I'm not going to leave the board yet, and I'm thinking about getting off the board pretty soon, if I find the right person to take my spot. And is that I want to get volleyball started again. We do not help our high school volleyball. Even though we're not a feeder, we do need to start our youth earlier, because I'm going to Louisville next week to watch my granddaughter play down there for months. Muncie is going down to Louisville. If you've seen those kids play, they're not even close.
Yeah,
it's unreal.
They're so athletic. They're so athletic nowadays. So I just think I don't think we're sometimes not telling a coach he can't coach because he doesn't know the game, and getting somebody that does know the game. And
I kind of get lost in that argument of feeder system.
yeah.
Because I've always looked at it as developmental program.
Yeah.
You know, a feeder system implies that you are giving these kids the top-notch fundamental coaching and pitching and shooting. Like, you've got people there specializing in this. That to me would be like the feeder system. Yeah. We are trying to teach kids how to talk to each other in the youth program at Ole Miss Youth Sports, how to handle dealing with conflict, how to be patient, how to talk to one another. I mean, it's a different kind of youth that we're dealing with. And that's just my opinion.
Well, Conrad, I'll tell you right now, the one thing I don't like, I've always disliked it, especially in baseball and basketball, is we play ourselves. way too much. And we don't, and we have everybody has a good kid on their team and a good team here, and there's not that feeling of camaraderie that they're going to be at the high school someday on the same team. It's more like, well, he hit me with a pitch, I don't like that kid. Or my parents says, and our parents are the worst when it comes to realizing that we are not a feeder. We want to be, but we can't because everybody needs to play. That their child is not getting a scholarship at 12.
Right.
They're not getting a scholarship at 10. They're there to learn the game and life lessons. We just can't put all our emphasis on winning.
Yeah.
We can't, and I know people say, oh yeah, Bob, you're the worst fan of all about losing. Yeah, I am. I was the worst fan ever. But I know this much. I know enough about sports that developing kids at a younger age, you will reach that one child and develop them emotionally for the rest of their lives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because speaking of that,
Yeah.
since we're on the subject of sports, you've been around forever with sports. Not just Ole Miss youth sports. Go back to three-way rec.
Yep.
And how many, when you coached, like when your daughters were involved, you guys put out some pretty good teams down there.
Yep.
He was a good coach. He had good athletes.
My goal was to put one girl or boy on the varsity team someday, and there was a few players come back and told me, goes, if you wouldn't have inspired me or the other coaches with me, I wouldn't have been that way. I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have done that. And it gives me a lot of pride that one student athlete would come back and say, I appreciate what you did for us. And by the way, Spike Gaskin and Steve and all those guys, there were some good battles down there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there were some times that
There was some good softball minds.
oh, they were just
Yeah.
and good pitching. Because right now I'm going to try to get somebody to help with our pitching because I don't want to go down there and see 10 walks in the game.
Right.
And everything. Say, hey, I won that game. I got a home run. No, you didn't. You hit the ball through the third baseman's leg. The outfielder threw it to first base, and you scored. It wasn't a home run. It was an error. But that kid behind him may be the one that you're going to reach someday.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to softball and soccer, and most of all, I'm looking forward to the warm weather. I don't know about you guys.
Well, yeah, that's
Indiana's just the armpit of the United States when it comes to the weather.
because I'm thinking back, years back, because you mentioned Jim Richards earlier.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize how much he did for the youth in this community.
Oh,
He had
with
30
three-way
years.
rec.
yeah.
He had
Yeah.
30
It's
years.
amazing.
One year I was on the board with him for probably 5 years on three-way rec, and many times it was just me and him.
Yeah,
Me and him.
I remember that.
And Jim did everything. He ordered everything. He took care of everything. And he didn't do it for any glory because most people, like you said, don't. And that's the way it should be. Behind the scenes, he did everything. And that's why some of these guys don't realize we need people like that today to step up. And hopefully we'll get those people.
Yeah, because we got so much glory when we were on that board. It's a thankless job, and I joke about that because when it goes right, nobody says thank you. But when it goes wrong, everybody's there.
Like
Everybody's there.
It's
2 a.m. phone call for my trophy.
Yeah.
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 Well, I'm not a trophy guy.
It was a 3 a.m. phone call for a trophy. Yeah. And it turned out the kid wasn't there.
Yeah. Yesterday we finished up our basketball season. It went really well.
Yes, it
That's
did.
awesome.
It went really well.
I like that you guys had Imagine Burgers out there.
Yeah. And we had Jack's Donuts inside and Jack's Coffee.
Yeah, they had coffee yesterday morning.
Really?
Oh, it was good. Shout out to Jack's. Shout out to Imagine. But
What about that commissioner?
AJ Fisher?
Yeah.
Did a good job.
Very good job.
Yeah.
Good job. I will put it out there right now. We don't have a Little League commissioner. I keep looking at Ted over here, but it's a hard job. We're trying to get enough youth signed up that we can separate the 9 and 10s from the 11 and 12s because we're not doing a service by having a 9-year-old just pitch to 9-year-olds and doing this
Yeah.
fluctuation of who pitches to who. Stay in your own lane, basically, and hopefully, Dave Glickfield's on our board now.
Yeah.
He has a lot of connections with baseball, and he we hope he will try to get some other towns to play at 9 and 10 and 11, 12. Because I think if we could play more games at the same level, it's better than putting 9 through 12, which I enjoyed 9 through 12.
Yep.
Because I was on a league team with Dave Pulley.
Yeah.
We were 28-0 our first few years because nobody hit Dave Pulley.
Yeah.
He was the best Little League player ever to come to this county. But
How do we get these kids to come out?
well, I'm not sure. I think it's not I think it's the parents that don't want to take them. You know, kind of, we send flyers home. You've taken 1,000 of them to the school, more like 10,000. They take it in their backpack home. That there's baseball signups, and then there's no response from some of them. I don't know why a kid wouldn't want to play baseball in the summer. I don't understand it.
And that's how you said, they stick them in their backpack. A lot of times these parents don't check it till
No.
Friday,
The
and you got it on Monday.
The numbers are not too bad for soccer right now. I think we'll end up with about 100. But I would tell you something about sports, or the Ole Miss U sports. Let's talk about baseball specifically. T-ball, you'll have 131 kids. Coaches pitch, you'll have 68. Little League, you'll have maybe 55. Use that for example. Where'd those other 62 or 55 or how many kids, where'd they go?
When they
didn't
start,
move
yeah.
away.
Well,
Conrad, tell me where they're at.
okay.
You ready?
All right. So you have 162 kids in T-ball, right?
Yep.
We'll go 65, 35. 65 boys, 65% boys, 35% girls. So when they split up, now you have a really small coaches pitch girls. You might have 4 teams, but on that 4 teams, you barely might have enough to cover all the infield for each team. Then the boys, you got a lot of boys that come out. But it's still not enough.
No.
And you're scratching 5% of the 1,100 kids in elementary from first grade to 5th. So parents, get your kids active. Get those kids out. Wherever community you're in, if you're in Oak Hill, Madison Grant, Mississinawa, Eastbrook, get those kids out. It doesn't, at the end of the day, they're going to learn things like structure, discipline, teamwork, character building, dealing with adversity, not giving up, fighting through. That's what's important. And they're going to make memories along the way. Because like you said, who doesn't remember their little league team?
I think about it all the time, but you did hit on something I want to shout about or talk about is we're not the only league that's like this. We're not the only QB like this.
Yep.
I mean, there's times that we have another school close to us, they couldn't even field a team. Now, this year we started playing Madison Grant in basketball. It didn't go too bad. They didn't have enough. They were tired of playing against each other, so we sent some teams over, and it worked out all right. But youth sports it's a valuable thing in your town. If you don't have youth sports, you're really missing something because somebody is going to get something lifelong good out of playing sports or coaching sports. I love coaching. Every time Ted sees me a lot at basketball games, I'm always telling these kids how to shoot a basketball. I'm sure Ted, who's a good basketball shooter, will say, why is he doing that? Every kid wants to hear something good about their shot, their hit. I gave money away yesterday. A couple of kids hustled out there. They didn't start, but they hustled. I gave this kid $2, this kid $2. And they came and talked to me after the game, and I thought, man, that's not what it's about. It's about you wanting to be here.
Yes. And that's just, just like you were saying, what these kids are going to learn, but it's also good for these kids to be out in the sunlight, in the air. It's okay to play in the dirt. You're not going to get sick.
No.
Now, wait.
Don't get me started about bicycles.
Listen. No sand castles. We're not building any sand castles. Because I'll tell you something else, Ted. kids learning to take instruction, that will go a long way for the rest of their lives. Understanding and accomplishing a goal together, it's so important.
Well, agreed. Plus, they're learning that I don't just have to take instruction from mom and dad.
Yeah.
Like Bob said, it's life lessons. It's you're not always going to enjoy who you work with or who you work for,
Teddy,
or who's on your team sometimes, or who your coach is.
there was a couple times Savannah listened to Bob more than she listened to me.
See, and that's my point. A lot of times these kids will listen better to someone other than their parent or a different coach.
I think you guys have hit on something. I think it's better that the dad does not coach a child. I really do.
It's
because
hard.
he or she, I'd say moms too, because there's some good moms out there to coach. Once they get them to a certain level and they're going to play organized ball, it's better for somebody else to take them because either you've done a good job and it's time for them to get some other point of view. Because like I said earlier, you're not giving away a scholarship today. You're learning the game. You're learning life lessons. You're learning goals. You're all in. And we all know around this table what we need to do for kids. It's just hard to get everybody together to say this is good for everybody. If you don't like it, that's bad, but we're going with this program or we're doing this.
Right.
Just like I think it's wrong when we go down there ball games, we have time limits. And if it's a 6-5 game and there's a batter up and the umpire goes time limit, what'd that prove? Well, that team took too much time putting their catcher gear on and ran the clock out. I don't see any lights on down there. I love night games. I like to have a night game at that park. But
you know what I do miss about that whole I don't community, maybe the community of Ole Miss U Sports, is we had some really good commissioners at that time. And one of them did a really good job fundraising and got a softball pitching machine and thought it was a great idea. Turn the lights on. We're going to invite some adults to play some high school kids. And it was an amazing time. And those are special moments and memories that build community. And, hopefully those kids will be like, you know what, one day I'm going to coach.
In our community, and I hope Bill and Grant County, everybody gets their heads together, we need facilities. That's the problem. Somebody complained yesterday we had to pay the janitor a large amount of money yesterday to be at the gym in Gas City. And I think, well, I wouldn't do it for that, but, we don't have our own facility, so we have to pay for this. I hope with all the growth out there that they do something out there at the I-69, but I'd like to see it where the people can still ride their golf carts out there and watch baseball.
Yep.
I think it's neat when I see the parents and grandparents roll up in their golf carts and their music going. They're doing family things, going to a family event instead of going out and driving their car, getting out, having a park, blah blah blah. It's a lot easier when you go to the park and do it. And I hope we do get a facility. I keep praying every day that I hit the lottery, but it won't be in Gas City if I hit the lottery. It'll be sitting in Jonesboro. But that means that I am part of this community. I'm part of Grant County, and I'm part of Indiana. I have a lot of things I'm trying to get connections for because most of the things I'm doing in Jonesboro are connected with the state, not the federal government. State runs everything for cities.
Right.
Yeah.
See, and that's like, we've all been there. We've seen all these, you go to these other cities and these facilities they have. Like you go watch a volleyball tournament, there might be eight courts there. Or you go to a baseball complex and there's 4 fields right here.
Yeah. Have you been to Mojo?
I haven't been there.
You ever see the basketball court upstairs?
Oh, man,
It's got nets where it comes back to you, computerized, you got a screen.
Really?
It keeps track of everything. It's $150 unlimited a month. But think about that. Your kid can go shoot and it tracks their shot and people work with you and it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's not just basketball, but I want that so bad. And I tell you what, if I hit the lottery next week with that $600 million, my facility director is Conrad Herrera.
That would be awesome. I'll tell
gets-
you right now.
he gets-
I'll tell you right now. Every game would be on YouTube.
Yep.
Every game would be, but yeah, we really do, don't we, Ted? We appreciate you coming on and taking time out of your Sunday.
Yep.
But more importantly, for everything he does.
Very
Like he said,
importantly.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a short arm. It's
No.
my hands straight up
Yep.
when I'm asked something, and that's there's not many people like
I
that.
help you too. I love you two guys. I think you've never had anything but the best interest of your children and your community and the kids. And everybody likes you two. And if you guys were running and the kids were
Opinions
voting-
vary, Bob.
Huh?
Opinions vary.
Well, if the kids voted this town, who do they remember? Ted Williams and Conrad Herrera. Let's just get serious about this. You guys do a good job with this. I didn't come here to toot my own horn. I come here because I felt like I deserved to talk to two of the best guys in this town.
We
So
appreciate it.
we very much do, but me and Ted had it in our minds because the 3 elected mayors, Bill Rock, Gas City guy, he, like you said
Yeah.
about Bob McNutt, he is Gas City.
Yeah.
Ronald Morrell,
Yep.
he is Marion.
Yep.
Bob Goins, you are Jonesboro.
I used to be Morrell's mailman when I was younger. 733 and 733 Lincoln Boulevard.
See, I'm telling you, these guys can tell you where almost anybody lives.
Yep.
I guarantee it.
But you're right about that. Those two guys, by the way,
Yeah.
I expect you guys to be at the Groundhog event next year.
We saw you guys did that this year. I didn't know anything
They got
about it.
something going. Now, I got kind of shunned into going. Bill called me and told me, you better be there because, like I said, I owe him a lot of help. He helps us a lot. But I went over and it was funny. I told him I'd bring the Jonesboro skunk next year and hold it up and see what happens.
You know what? I like that. Hey, and if you three get together, we'll take all our equipment there and we'll put it on YouTube.
I got a better idea. I'm gonna find a facility you can put this stuff in Jonesboro. How's that sound?
We would love that.
You know what? I've got my eye on a spot.
I know.
I've got my eye on a spot.
But thank you guys. It was an honor to talk to you too. I hope everybody out there realizes that this was basically talking about youth and sports and not us. And
Yep.
let's go Indians. I'm sorry about last night's game, but guess what? Let's go back at it again.
Yep.
And I can't wait to yell at some kids at high school level again.
Hey, you know what's next? Track and field,
Oh,
softball,
yes.
baseball. Let's go.
All right.
And we love our Madison Grand Argyles too,
Yep.
and our Oak Hill people.
Well,
and
you have to
Eastbrook.
play somebody.
Yeah.
I told
Yeah.
somebody years ago, and Marion Giants used to give me crap when I go over there and they yell at me, "Why are you a Miss Centerville fan?" I said, "Hey, if I had been born in Marion,
Yeah.
I would have been a Marion Giant fan because I love sports."
If we're not
Exactly.
in it, we'll cheer our Grant County teams.
Oh.
But if we're in
Yeah,
it,
for
sorry.
sure.
Oh, I've been
Sorry.
down and watched Oak Hill girls play in state championship
Yeah,
because
that's-
I go to Noblesville because, matter of fact, I got a Noblesville wristband on because of Nick Veter's son.
Yeah.
Pretty good. They got beat by 2
Yeah,
last
on
night.
like 5 seconds left, wasn't it? The
Yeah.
guy hit the shot.
Yeah,
Listen to
Number
this
one
guy.
versus number 2.
Hey, did you guys listen? If anyone that watches this show on YouTube or on Apple, Spotify, message Ted and tell him what a great job he did on Tribe TV.
oh, yeah.
He did a great job last night commentating with Derek Gowan.
Yep.
Ted's one of these guys. I come over yesterday. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Oh, doing my research. Research.
Yep.
That's what he did. That's what he does. So, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Shout out
Bob.
Jonesboro.
All right.
See everybody later.
Thanks, Garage Talk.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks,
That was
Bob.